Okay, let's now look at the conclusion to this discuss both sides essay about media stars, sports stars, teachers, or education workers and health workers. So, what do we need in the conclusion? We've got 3 questions here. Does the conclusion give a direct opinion? So you have to discuss both sides and give your opinion. Most of the time, discuss both sides essays have 4 paragraphs. The introduction, first body paragraph, second body paragraph, and conclusion. You can have another paragraph here, which will give you 5, which will be your introduction and your conclusion, and then 3 body paragraphs. First, second, third. In this case, your first body paragraph will be one side, second body paragraph the other side, third body paragraph your opinion. Why would you choose to have 3 and not 2? I think if your opinion is fairly different from those 2 sides, it means you need to introduce new ideas, and perhaps 2 big new ideas, and then you have to support it to justify your opinion. However, if in these first 2 here, when you're discussing one of the sides and then the other side, if you actually agree with one of these sides and you agree with the reasons that have been discussed, then that means that you don't have to present that much that's new. There might be some little bit of supporting detail or some extra aspect you add. But if you happen to agree with one of the sides, then usually you'll have 4. You'll have introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, your conclusion in which you give your opinion and you kind of cite the reasons connected with that side that you agree with. And that's why traditionally the second main body paragraph, so introduction, first body paragraph, second body paragraph, usually the sides you agree with goes with here. So then it flows on naturally and say, hey, I agree with that person next to me. Okay. Does the conclusion connect the opinion to the 2 sides in some way? Yeah, I mean, it's important because you can theoretically just say, in my opinion, I think it's important for medical workers to get paid a lot, but not so much teachers. No, that's bad. Medical workers should get paid more, but perhaps not teachers. And then you link it in with what was talked about in the main body. You connect it. And the last one, which for me is very interesting, how strong your opinion is. What can happen is, think about someone picks up this text to read it. And in the first main body paragraph, they read about how wonderful media stars are and how they do all these brilliant things to help everyone. And then in the second body paragraph, they read about how doctors and teachers do a lot, and they're pretty useful for society. So in the first body paragraph, I wonder how great the sports and media stars are. Next, doctors, yeah, they're important. And then in conclusion, doctors should get paid more. Doctors and teachers should get paid more because media stars don't do anything useful. So even though when you discuss it, you're projecting someone else's opinion, if you project it very strongly and then you say it's useless down the bottom, it's not useful. So really good, really good, really good. In conclusion, it's bad. You then have to justify why to the reader, because this is very new, a new and unexpected disagreement, new information. So it needs to be supported. So what you need to think about is how strong your opinion will be. Let's have a look at the conclusion now. If you need to read through the exam statement again, please read through it. If not, press pause and read through it. If not, let's go. So in conclusion, I fully support. So talking about how strong the person is, you can put that nice color. Okay, maroon. I fully support. So that's very strong. It's very strong. That's okay. You can be fully support. I fully support higher. So that's good. They've got the comparative. Higher payment for those who choose their profession in education or medicine areas compared to those who are sports or media stars. Okay, so that's the opinion. That's good, and it's a direct opinion. There's no doubt that this is the author's opinion. Okay, so in this conclusion, I is wonderful. It's very direct. I fully support. You can say, for example, there can be no doubt. This is an opinion. It's given indirectly, but it's not, some people say. This is a statement of opinion. So that's also possible, but there's nothing wrong here with I fully support. So in discuss both sides, traditionally, introduction, you don't say I think. It's possible, you don't have to. But in the conclusion, yes. In the conclusion, I blah, blah, blah. Fully support that. Having highly well-paid doctors will do benefits to society. So does it connect the opinion to the two sides? Yes, it does. It connects it to what was discussed in body paragraph 2, that they'll do benefits to society. So that's okay. Could it be a bit fuller? Yeah, you can have a bit fuller. Your introduction, maybe you don't have a lot of time, so you have to write it quite quickly. In this case, this is enough. If you have a little bit more time, then it's probably good just to summarize a little bit more. You know, perhaps like even though. That's always a nice one. Even though media and sports stars are incredibly popular. So this was the key feature. It was said in the first body paragraph, they're very, very popular. Having high will do benefits will do, and I put here bring far greater benefits to society. So again, like far greater, that's very strong, isn't it? Okay, so it's not wrong. It's fine. You can be very strong. You don't have to be strong. If you think, you know, somewhat, you could say somewhat greater benefits. You can be weaker if you want, somewhat greater benefits. Doesn't matter. I put far greater because here we've got fully support. Yep. Okay, so this is the last part here. We see that it's given a direct opinion. It's linked that in with some detail from the text, and we've added something so it links in even more with the text. The last thing is to think about how strong the opinion is. Now, obviously, the opinion's very strong. Okay, so as I mentioned before, if they're balanced, you know, body paragraph 1, yeah, this is good and this is good, therefore this is much better. It's a bit unexpected and it needs justification. So I fully support high payment. The reason is that they bring benefits to society. So that's in the text. It's justified. Here I've made it even stronger with far greater benefits, and that was proven in the text. But what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the text to see a very, very, very important moment for discuss both sides, how we can make the other side weaker and our side we agree with stronger. So when we get to this strong conclusion, the idea is already there. It doesn't come as something that's unexpected to the reader. Okay, so let's look at the first body paragraph that was about sports and media stars. Now, in the conclusion, the author, well, I added this, that, you know, even though they are incredibly popular. So that means we admit that they're incredibly popular, but we're saying that the main reason why they don't deserve to get paid more, and doctors and nurses and teachers should, is because of the benefits for society. So because we say, yeah, they're very popular, we don't have to make it weaker, okay? I'll just make it weaker now as an example, and then we can decide if it's too weak. So let's have a look at this paragraph. Proponents of higher payment rates usually cite two main reasons to justify their position. Yep. First of all, such stars bring joy and entertainment into the lives of thousands, if not millions. So we can just get rid of that, thousands of people. Bang, and then it's a little bit weaker. Madonna, for example, was far better paid for her concerts than most teachers could dream of because of any of her parents gathered full stadiums of adoring fans. Concerning sports stars, they too have to be better paid because they too have to be better paid because they are part of a tiny elite who achieve fame across the country or representing global games, for example, Olympics. Yeah. Okay, in fact, I think this is okay. While it is true that health workers may be popular among those they come into contact with, there's no comparison in terms of popularity. So everything's about popularity. We don't have to. We're not talking about who's more popular, and we're talking here about the fact that they do get paid more because of their popularity, because they represent countries at an elite level. So we don't actually have to make this any weaker. And in fact, I'll go back and leave in that millions there. Okay, so that paragraph we didn't change much at all, because to reach our conclusion we don't need to. Let's look at the next paragraph. We might need to make that stronger. Okay, so we want to make this paragraph stronger, but we need to think how. There are some basic ways of doing it in any essay. So where we have others, however, are highly skeptical, highly and rightly. So by putting in this one magic word, rightly, you're showing that as the author you agree with this. Skeptical that media have to be paid more. Yep. So that automatically makes it clear to the reader that you agree with this. And then what we want to do is we want to emphasize the reasons. So it takes a lot of effort. Okay, for those who, so this is good, those who commit themselves. That's a nice, strong word. Being a doctor takes a lot of effort. Takes an incredible amount of, okay, so I'll leave a lot of in there. We can just then at the end compare them. Takes a lot of, an incredible amount of effort. So that's stronger, isn't it, than a lot of. And could take up to 10 years, up to a full 10 years. So that makes it stronger before coming well qualified and recognized. So that's good, well qualified in order to treat others. Yeah. Well, you say any member of society who requires their help. Yeah. That's any member of society. That's quite strong. Yep. Do deserve higher payment. Now we're going to say much higher payment. Much higher payment. No, that wasn't in the conclusion, I don't think. No, in the conclusion it was just higher payment, so we don't need to change that. Do deserve due to the complexity. So that's good. Medical professions do deserve. So here there's an emphatic do. A bit like rightly a little bit earlier, it shows that you agree medical professions do deserve. Is it the author's opinion? Is it the people, this group of people's opinion? This one's not entirely clear, but that doesn't matter. Because this first one shows that rightly shows the author agrees. And then medical professions do deserve helps make it stronger. So that's good. Do deserve high payment due to the complexity and relatively. So out of that greater importance of such an narcotics for a society, doctors save lives, stars do not. Doctors save, I mean, here we could put millions of lives. Doctors save millions of lives. Whoa, that's much. Yeah. Stars do not save any. Okay, so we're really emphasizing this stronger point of doctors, because at the end, so I fully agree, far greater. So it's got to be stronger. Client has become a teacher, could be said. So it could be said. Is that strong or weak? That's quite weak. So we don't want that. So I'll put that in brackets. It could be said that. Oops. There is no doubt. There is no doubt that teaching others implies. Now, implies means it's indirectly said. Again, it's indirect. It's not direct. We want to be stronger. So this would be good if you want to weaken it. Here we put entails, or another involves. Yeah. And we can put inevitably. Inevitably. That makes it yes all the time. There's a lot of responsibilities. Yep. A large amount. What do we have? An incredible amount. A large amount of. And then we want a nice strong adjective in there. A large amount of what? Big responsibilities. A large amount of big responsibilities. Okay. Unbelievable. There we go. It's even stronger. Unbelievable. Unbelievable responsibilities regarding every member of our society. Okay, bang! So strong. Just as our society relies on doctors, fully relies on doctors to maintain good health, we also depend on the quality. We also completely depend We also completely depend. Okay, so just to come back to that conclusion, yeah, it says here, far greater benefits I fully support, very strong. So now we have something that's very strong. But you have to be careful when you're making something weaker or when you're making it stronger. You shouldn't make it so weak that it's not believable, and you shouldn't make it so strong that it sounds stupid. So what I've done here is I've made it probably too strong. In fact, I've definitely made it too strong. Let's think about where rightly that's fine. An incredible amount of effort. I mean, is that too strong for doctors? I don't think so. It does require an incredible amount of effort. So that's good. It's a strong expression, but it's still believable. A full 10 years, that's fine. It's the same thing. 10 years, we're just emphasizing how much of a full 10 years it is. In order to treat any member of society who requires help. Well, that's a bit, you know, maybe in socialist Cuba or something like that. But yeah, I mean, often doctors don't treat any member of society who requires help. Yeah, so that's a bit strong. Treat members of society. So that members of society successfully. So that's okay. It's still strong. Why is it strong? Because it's talking about, treating members of society. So the whole idea is the importance of society. So it's like when you give a business presentation and you've got your key word that's going to sell your product or sell your idea, and that's the key word that you're supposed to keep repeating. Or a politician who's trying to win votes. It's the same thing here. Treat members of society. Great for members of society. Good for the Australian people. The Australian people deserve this. The Australian people want this. Yeah? Okay, that's do deserve. That's cool. Doctors save millions of lives. Okay, so that's not good. Doctors save lives. Stars do not. Yeah. Okay, stars do not. So do not save any. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they do. It's just a bit strong. Stars do not. Okay. Inevitably entails. Yep, that's good because I think it's true. A large amount of unbelievable. It's too emotional. So a large amount of responsibilities. What can we put here rather than unbelievable? Serious responsibilities. Regarding every member of our society. So what are we talking about? Children and young adults. So children and young adults within our society. Okay. So this again, this is true. It's not too strong. And children, they're helping the children. This is wonderful. The young adults within our society. Okay. So that's good. And again, we've got our society. And just as our society, I'll just change that. People in our society. Okay, just as people fully rely on doctors. Fully rely on doctors to maintain good health? No, because they can exercise. Rely on doctors and nurses to maintain good health. I mean, you could argue that we should take out maintain good health. But we'll leave it. We also completely depend. Maybe completely is a bit strong. Do we completely depend on the quality of education and level of qualification? Yeah, it's pretty close to completely. Yeah. Maybe something that's still strong, we largely depend. Yeah. You don't have to say largely, almost always. So another way of making something stronger or weaker is to put in how often or how rare, how not often. So, I can make this we also, if I get rid of largely, almost never depend on the quality. Bang! So they've gone from being important to not important. Okay, so we almost always depend. Okay, so you can see that I didn't have to add a lot of things. But now if you press pause and read it again, then you'll see that it's now a lot stronger when it comes to good for society or better than for society. Perhaps somewhere we could mention that as a comparative, that would also be good. Just as people in society remain doctors in good health. teachers. Which is not the case when it comes to media stars, for example, to media and sports stars. Okay, so this is really good because it's building up. It starts straight away why they should get paid more. It states they should get paid more. Then it states reasons. It doesn't say again here why they should get. It doesn't say again why they should get paid more. But when we come into the conclusion, which we can have a look up now. Look here. Yeah. I fully support for those who choose their professional education compared to those of sports. Even though ministers are incredibly popular, so that's the idea we had there. It's very good linking in. Having highly well-paid doctors and teachers will bring far greater benefits to society. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you do have the idea if they deserve. Yeah, having highly well-paid doctors and teachers will bring greater. Maybe changing it a little bit. Incredibly popular. Yep. More highly paid. Yeah. Something like doctors and teachers will bring far greater benefits to society and are therefore deserving of higher pay than the stars, just to emphasize that. Okay. Even though Morty and Speech are incredibly popular, that was why they get paid a lot. Doctors and teachers bring far greater benefit to society and are therefore deserving of higher pay than the stars. So that's, boom, the key point to bring it home. Okay, so hopefully that helps you think about the next time you write Discuss Both Sides. As always, keep the focus in on all aspects of the exam task. Keep your mind on what it is you're supposed to be directing all of your arguments towards. Because it should build right up to that last conclusion, not last, until the conclusion and the last thing you write, where everything in your assignment has been working towards this. That's, I think, in the IELTS criteria they say, skillfully organized. I think that's what they mean. I was an IELTS examiner for 10 years. I have to say, I think that's what they mean because often when they talk about organization, they just talk about using linking words and stuff like that. But yeah, the idea of the ideas being logically organized. So when you reach your conclusion, it's quite a natural flow. So I think, yeah, what are your key points? What are the key points of both sides? How strongly do you feel about them? Then choose the side that you feel more strongly about and put that second. Weaken the other side a little bit, but maybe not that much. In this one, we didn't have to weaken them because the idea was that popularity isn't that important. We just had to strengthen the benefits to society. And then that rolls into your conclusion in the end, hopefully.